Thank you, everybody, for being here today. I will pull up the agenda. Also, Megan, I need to find out at some point, how did you get a sweater that has gloves together? Because it looks, oh, it's separate gloves? Okay. I kept looking at it going, she's got some sort of cool sweater on today. So
no, 2 days ago, I bought fingerless gloves on Amazon and they have arrived.
Nice.
My house is very cold.
We are trying to figure out how our 14-year-old twins can continue to socialize during distance, during this remote time. And we have one family we've quarantined with primarily. And just last night we saw them and we're sitting in my backyard, everybody freezing because we don't have a cover. Like we pulled out this little fire pit. And I said to everybody, I said, you know what? I'm going to go to like Dollar Tree or like Walmart and buy like 40 pairs of gloves. And then anybody who comes to my backyard, here's a pair of gloves, here's a pair of gloves, here's a pair of gloves to keep everybody warm. You know, it's a new time. We got to think about new ways to keep people connected. And it's a strange time, but we're making it work, right? As we do.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and get going. Thank you, everybody, for being here today. I greatly appreciate it. I know it's a very busy time of the year, a very busy time of the semester. And so, but we appreciate you being here. Hopefully, since I put a password on today, we won't have any surprises within the meeting. So I'm looking forward to just having a regular old meeting today. So with that, we're going to have Kathleen's going to start us off. And then after Kathleen, Kimberly's going to go. And we're trying to be aware of timing because Kathleen needs to be off about 12:30 and Kimberly from Bakersfield needs to be off by about 12:45. I don't think Kim's on yet, but she should be joining us. So Kathleen, why don't you take it over and tell us a bit about how Teach for the Bay went. I know that you did a brief update in the last meeting we had because it had just wrapped at that point, but I'm wondering if there's any other like take homes or any information about analytics or the videos or anything like that you'd like to share.
Yeah, we've got some analytics and I think since Steve is on this call, Steve, if you're planning on staying through the ACTEP convening announcement, you're probably more qualified than I am I just was doing it for Cheryl. So if you want to take it over, that's fine. That's the next agenda item. So Teach for the Bay, we actually have our regional meeting today. We've run out of Thursdays and Fridays in life. But I do have some analytics, which I'll be sharing with our groups. I'll share with you. I think I announced last time that we had 2,774 participants, but I did not announce a couple of the other things that we were blown away with. And so what I think would be great would be when we get this wrapped up, we're still continuing our social media blitz through December. Our Strong Workforce Grant ends December 31st. So we'll be promoting in addition, we did the conference and that was the big thing. And I think it was very successful. 2,700 attendees is, amazing. But we're also pushing a few other things. So most of you have seen the promo video we did for the conference. We've done another one for STEM CTE, and we're now doing one for, we're actually going to do early childhood. And the reason is that our region has looked at the ECE numbers in our region and all the programs that are in trouble and the difficulties they're having in finding people. And they've kind of prioritized that element of teacher preparation. So that's good. We're going to do a recruitment video. I think most of you have read some of the articles coming out that at least in our region, between 30 to 50% of the childcare facilities in early childhood spots for children are in trouble financially. They are at risk of closing, not just in trouble, but they're at risk of running out of payroll. And because the children they can serve are just, the ratios have just dropped. So they're just not cost effective. Everyone's kind of waiting for the next round of federal help if it comes, state help if it comes. But in the meantime, we have a crisis. So I think rightfully so, our region, our RJV ended. It does not mean our work ended, but they're pivoting a bit to ECE. So we can take these lessons learned. And I think the thing that surprised us, and this was just 2 months of social media, we'll go through December, so we'll have, 3 full months, but we had a reach on Facebook of 17,000 views. We had our YouTube video, the one that I've shown to everyone, and probably am responsible for 1,000 of those views, but as of today, it had 24,000 views. 1,000, not 100, 24,000 views. Twitter had 12,000 impressions. And so that's, a reaction to something that went out, or, something, someone saw it and did something. Instagram had a reach of 14,000. Website clicks, our website, Teach for the Bay, got 574 clicks. Mostly probably to download the program or, look at the program. But it had, we're monitoring traffic. So during that 2-month period. And Instagram also had 7,278 engagements. And engagements are different than reach. Reach is one way, engagement is a response. So we also gathered followers. 650 people followed us at Teach for the Bay and are continuing to follow us. So our next round is, as I said, STEM and CTE teachers. Then we're going to do a blurb around ECE, and we're going to have also a short video and a blurb on career changers. And we think career changers are good for right now because if you're out of work, or you're, marginally employed or underemployed, and you've always wanted to teach, this is a good time. We had 200,000 applications for unemployment just in San Francisco. So we've got a lot of folks that are either underemployed or marginally employed or in the midst of changing jobs. And the 270,000 unemployment apps were from the start of the pandemic. So it doesn't mean that they're all still unemployed, but in a city that bragged about having, 2% unemployment prior, it's pretty frightening. So once we get this social media campaign wrapped up, everything will be posted on Teach for the Bay. And I think having someone who knows social media was very helpful. And she also, in addition to sent out information about being a teacher, she sent out information on voting and on social justice things that were coming up in the Bay Area, voting to make a difference. It kind of went, make sure you vote and consider teaching. So we were trying to link key activities in our community with also being a teacher. And then coming up, we're going to be linking it to these videos. And I have to say the video linkages are really compelling because sometimes people just don't click on words. But if there's a video that starts, when they click, it does capture them. We also bought ads. And so, before this, I had no idea that you could both promote things on social media and buy ads, and it elevates your placement. And I'm learning, so I'm not the expert, but buying ads was really important because she bought ads where people were already looking at something related. So,
Kathleen, I wanted to ask a little bit about that. The social media person that you utilized and helped you with this, is this like somebody who's a staff member at San Francisco City, or is it a side contract?
She's faculty. She's faculty. She does our broadcast and media services courses, and part of her broadcast and media specialty is the social media part. So it's not just promoting. She's also telling people, all about, it's kind of the history of social media, and then how to use the broadcast and media services to better understand that. So, we were just lucky that she also was really interested in the topic. She's really a teacher that likes to promote teaching. And I wish I could say they all do, but not all teachers promote teaching. Some of them.
Is she available to give a training to our group on?
She might be. She's gonna
a meeting. It'd be
yes, I
great
think
to
she
hear
would
what
be.
she did.
And yeah, I'm sure she would be. And I think if she were to explain her strategies and her rationale, I think, you know, we could even do a mini you know, conference or a mini training and feature her. Because I think
Useful.
yeah, it's very useful. And I think we can build on what she did. And you know, what we're going to talk to our region about next is, you know, I am retiring soon, but I'm going to be back to do special projects. So I keep saying, and then we're going to, and I thought I can't do anything for a few months, nothing, but except unless volunteer. And I'm going to volunteer, but for a few months I have to be off the radar. But
just in San Francisco though, right? If another campus or somebody wanted to.
No community college.
Oh,
Anything STRS.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, but there's some other. Anyway.
6 months, Kathleen.
Yeah, 6 months. yeah, but it's fine, and there's other ways that, you know, we can do things through nonprofits and that kind of thing. But anyway, I don't want to work that much, but there are some projects I love, and you know, obviously this one's one I love. But I have been talking to the group, and I will be talking today about we're, you know, looking at both the ACTEP conference and looking at doing some regional work with ACTEP, and then how to combine all this great energy to do, you know, a statewide conferences that are modeled after, I think, a very successful model. Mm-hmm. And, you know, thanks to Leah Martinez too, who's really piloted a lot of the elements of this model. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of my report. And then I was going to talk about ACTEP. I think Steve can give, you know, details. He's most certainly more, his brain is probably more immersed in it, but it's tomorrow. There's still openings. We will both be there. There will be, you know, lots of people participating. So Steve, do you mind just, Megan too? You know, we have a lot of ACTEP expertise right now, but Steve and Megan, maybe you can, you want to share anything?
Just some great topics. I think we were really engaged in a lot of different things, from our keynote speaker to all the breakout sessions, even some space to be able to just kind of talk and process and build community with other educators doing this work. So yeah, we're really excited about it. I think we have a pretty good day. It's pretty well organized. You know, hopefully, you know, we'll have, we definitely have a group registered, and if people still want to register, they can definitely come, and it's still open to register. But yeah, I think I'm immersed in it, but I'm like too deep in it to be able to like take 300, like the 1,000-foot view. I'm still like, you know, looking at my PowerPoint. So, but yeah, we're doing it. I think it'll be a great day, a great time to come together. Part of the ACTEP meeting and at the lunchtime will be electing new officers for the upcoming year, revising our bylaws. So really, again, the structure of ACTEP, I think, is really coming together. We're coming off of CCTE, the Cal Council on Teacher Education, that meeting about a month ago, where we really built a lot of strong partnerships with our 4-year partners. So I think, I mean, as an organization, ACTEP is really poised to help propel some of this work and collectively work together to really propel this work in the future. But yeah, I'm excited about tomorrow. I think we should have some really, hopefully some challenging us as educators too, not just, you know, speaking to the choir, but also challenging us in our work to how do we do this work to produce anti-racist educators and to work collectively, you know, in this time. So excited about it.
Steve, I really appreciate too. I saw the CARE, the Coalition for Anti-Racist Education, which some of us on this team are on. I was glad to see that this is a group that's going to be given, you know, an opportunity to have a session for people to come to, because the work that Lisa Wilson and the whole team has been engaging us in has been just so thought-provoking and really revolutionary. And so I'm thrilled that they have a platform at ACTEP tomorrow. I also want to share that within the Los Angeles region, Cerritos College, El Camino College, and Rio Hondo College are working with the Center for Collaborative Education. And CCE will have some of their members coming to ACTEP tomorrow. They're excited to get to see what ACTEP is. And I've been working with them and they're asking me about different groups to partner with and group, moving in the future. And so I was like, oh, you guys got to know about ACTEP and let me tell you about them. And so I'm excited to try and help bridge, more groups to know about ACTEP and to, once again, like to me, this is all about streamlining what we do and really having the most impact for what we do and working as smart as we can. So Steve and everybody on the ACTEP team, thank you so much for bringing this forward. I'm really excited for tomorrow. It should be a great day. I know many of us who are on right now are planning to attend. I'm also thrilled to see that quite a few that are on right now are also presenters. And so that was great to see that. So appreciate it very much. Any other comments or questions or whatnot about ACTEP, everyone? Okay, I do want to go back to Kathleen for just 1 second. I want to let you know that in the chat, I asked Kathleen if we could get the name and contact information for her videographer, because I've had a few people have expressed interest. They've liked Kathleen's videos, and also the videographer was incredibly cost efficient. So if you are looking for somebody, I'm gonna get that information. I also asked just to get an approximate idea of how much it costs to do that social media campaign for Teach for the Bay, because I've always done stuff on social media, but have never done it with paid ads, and I'd love to kind of know. I mean, it sounds like it was so worth it, and so it'd be great to get idea about the investment on that. Kathleen, is that something that you can quickly tell us a number on, or is that something where we can do it via email?
It's hard to say. We spent about $2,000 on social media. That would be the paid ads and then the accounts and that kind of thing. Not even 1,800 probably. It's very hard to get numbers when you're buying Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I don't know if you've ever gone through the accounts, but I had to use, my credit card on something. Oh my God. And then you don't get billed until they actually run it. And so you don't quite know what you're paying for. So I think it's about 1,800. But then we had some faculty time, which you have to factor in. And so I will, I'm happy to, I have to go right now, but I'm happy to share the resources for our video production person. And I'm going to ask him to put something together, since I don't want to quote, what he can do. But I think if he can, then I can just send and you could put the page on the website.
That'd be perfect, Kathleen. Yeah. Great for people to have that videographer resource. So that's awesome. Excellent.
Yeah. And he's really nice too, nice person.
Hey, it always helps when like the people that we work with are easy to work with and collaborative and,
He's great.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I have to go. Thank you. Good to see everyone.
Meeting. Okay, great. Steve, anything else on ACTEP or anything else you'd like to share? Nope. We'll see everybody tomorrow. Excellent. I don't think Kimberly's on right now. I'm looking through names. Is there anybody else who's on from Bakersfield? I do know that she had a 12:45 commitment, so maybe she's not able to join us. Okay, well, let's go ahead and move forward to Teach for LA. Miss Leah Martinez, could you tell us where things are going, how things are going with Teach for LA, and kind of where things are headed? Because I know that we have a really important day coming up next Friday. And so would you share about it with everyone, please?
All right. So thank you again for inviting me here. I did share last time, so I'm not going to share with you the program anymore. But as you know, this is a 3-week event from November 2nd through the 20th. And this is actually our second week. We're almost done with our second week. And I've been through a couple of workshops, and every workshop that I've attended, a lot of our audiences are really engaged. And I've been looking through our, we have about 100 plus people who actually responded to our survey, and all the surveys were positive. So we all, 5 being the highest, being most satisfied, and we mostly have 4 and 5. I think we have like 1, 3 out of the 100 plus survey respondents. And then, I'm also tracking our analytics, and we have about 4,000 views of our website. So hopefully that translates into people registering into the different workshops that we're offering. And then 1,000 of that was probably, well, 1,000 plus are direct hits actually for our program itself. Also, Renee mentioned about our session that's coming this Friday. We have the networking and transfer fair. We have about 100 plus registrants for that already. And we're going to have prizes for that. And thank you to all those colleges who actually donated prizes for our opportunity drawing. So I would like to invite all teachers, current teachers, as well as your students to that event. We are going to have a student panel and then a breakout sessions where they can ask our CSU reps and community college representatives about questions that they may have. And then when they come back into the general room, we're going to have an opportunity drawing. And the same thing that the Bay did, we're going to have our recordings and resources compiled as well. And it is going to be the teachlarc.org website. And we're going to make an announcement once that's available to all of you. And I think that's all I have. And I know that we have presenters. Rosemary, did you already present or?
Yes, I did on Tuesday. So it was fun.
Yes.
I think I had, I can't remember the number of participants, but it was a good number and it went smoothly. So yeah, I have to caption my video and then I'll be sending it your way.
Thank you. And Renee, if I may share our video, this
Absolutely.
is just an inspirational video that we actually made available to everyone as well. So let me see. Okay, let me go back. If it's there. Yeah.
Leah, oh, good. Okay, I just made you a co-host, so.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Renee. Can you see it now? And with that, thank you very much for inviting me to promote our event.
Excellent. And I'm going to give a little plug too, because I know that Leah is still in need of some other like prizes or giveaways for the giveaway that she's going to do at the very end. My instinct is I want to call it a raffle, but I know it's not a raffle. it's a giveaway. And so I just want to throw it out there in case there's anybody who can help out, whether it be what you would commit to is mailing. You would take a picture of the prize and send it to Leah, and then you would actually mail the prize to whoever wins it. The one contingency is that people have to be in California, just to try and simplify it. And I messaged Leah and I said, hey, I just want to check in. Like, is it okay if I put together something that's like for a future teacher, like 10 packs of stickers or some books that you might put in your classroom, or, you know, things like that. And she was like, absolutely. So I'm just going to go shopping this weekend, put together a couple things that I can mail in small packages, and then just have them ready to go. So if anybody else can help out with that, please either message Leah on the chat box, or Leah, if you want to put your email in the chat, that'd be great. Any of us who've done a conference, we just know how much it takes to kind of get those prizes and stuff at the end, or get, you know, get those little goodies. So anybody can help with that, that would be awesome. And even if you're like on campus and you've got some program materials or something like that, cute t-shirt, or, you know, some teacher prep items like that, I'm sure students would appreciate it. So thank you so much, Leah. I am going to pop up the agenda one more
Thank you,
time.
Renee.
Absolutely. I'm excited for next Friday. And I can't wait to find, oh, Leah, one quick question. Did you also do paid social media ads for your?
No, we actually didn't do that. I ran out of strong workforce funds, so I couldn't do any social media. But yeah, that's really a good idea.
I always wondered how much they would cost. So hearing Kathleen say 1,800 feels so much more tangible to me. So moving forward, I think maybe once we have additional funding, maybe that's something that we can consider. Or for like next summer, you know, we had some talk last month about, you know, fortunately, Antelope Valley is going to be rolling out a conference. We know that they're going to have a Summer Institute conference, and there was some interest last month in it being a statewide conference. And so maybe as we're talking with the AV team, and not to put anybody on the spot, because I know we have AV leadership on the call right now, but maybe as we're talking and figuring that out, if there's some funding available, maybe we could try with that statewide conference to do an investment for a social media campaign, so we could see, you know, how much of a difference it makes, because it's showing it does make a difference. So thank you so much for sharing this. We're all just trying to figure out best practices and doing what we can with the resources we have. So please don't ever think there's any sort of judgment coming from me, like one way is better than the other. It's not. It's just, we're all just doing the best we can. So, and I think what Teach for LA is bringing right now is fantastic and needed by our students. And I could just say from my sessions, my last session, my last workshop I did last week, I had 88 people in it. So I felt that was a solid number, and people were fully committed. So thank you for bringing this, Leah, and thank you to Kathleen. I know she's not with us right now, but you know, we appreciate bringing these kind of resources. Okay, with that, I still don't see Kimberly on. So I'm hoping if I mess up, anybody just tell me, please. And we will bring her on. But let's go ahead now. And also Rachel's not on, but Kim Barker is going to take over for the ECE Community of Practice and tell us what's been going on there. Thank you, Kim.
Yeah, no problem. Really exciting connections continuing to be made with so many of our colleagues throughout the region, throughout the state, and actually throughout the nation. We're connecting with many instructors and professionals throughout the nation through the ECE Co-op. We do have a coffee chat tomorrow. Hope you can make it. I believe it starts, I'll put in the, I need to look up just to make sure. We've been switching around, just trying to meet the needs of everyone so that everyone has opportunity to attend if they can't come at a certain time. So I will double check on that time and put it in the chat for you. But it's going to be really wonderful. We'll be looking at some of the curriculum content that's being used, some ideas that instructors have taken into the classroom and implemented within this new way of teaching online, synchronous teaching, and bringing that information back, bringing their experiences back, sharing it with us, and really looking at different courses and how we can take some of that new information and start utilizing it within those different courses. There will be some great breakout sessions, some great conversation. We also have a new Facebook page. I will make sure and put that link in the chat also. And we're just continuing to move forward, ready to move into the new year and continue this great work. So So appreciated.
Kim, it's funny. I was trying to find it on Facebook right now. I'm like, oh, I don't have the link up. I wasn't able to find it quickly, so I apologize that I don't have it. But Rachel did such a good job, putting together the website, and now she has the Facebook page. And I mean, the whole team's been working on stuff, but Rachel really has been so fantastic. In
Yeah,
this
she's
aspect.
really that strong force behind, the continuation of it and making sure that we're all aware of what's happening. And yeah.
Oh, and you know what, in terms of early childhood too, I don't have this included on the agenda, but just FYI, the Early Childhood Council, I'm saying it wrong, is Policy Council, Early Childhood Policy Council. They have some meetings coming up. So if anybody's interested in knowing about the Early Childhood Master Plan for the state of California, please let me know, and I'd be happy to share that meeting notice with you. I sent it to a couple individual people that I know was interested. And even if you're not 100% sure if you should, I'm going to be honest. I try to go to meetings like the Early Childhood Policy Council, CTC, the meetings that I can as much as possible to stay in the know. And when we did some advocacy work with Department of Education at the end of September, it was kind of awesome when somebody from very high up in CDE said, oh, I remember seeing you at the Early Childhood Policy Council, Renee. And it's like a meeting where I can't even talk because, we're all muted. You can only see us. And so just always remember that relational side, because it makes a difference. And so sometimes it's hard when we go to meetings and maybe we're not fully like a participant, but we're more like an onlooker. Please also know that there's value in that. And that relational side, especially with everything going on right now with the pandemic, I think a lot of us are relying on the relationships that we have established. And so it's a good investment. If anybody's interested in the Policy Council, I'll make sure I can get that for us. With that, could we have Shannon please tell us a little bit about the EDU community of practice and what's been going on and what's coming up next?
Sure, and Megan's here as well. I'm sorry, I'm on my phone today. I ended up getting double booked this morning. So goodness, we've been plugging along. There has been a little bit of a holdup, not on Megan's and on my end, as far as getting the planning completed for the Canvas course that we've been working on. I have been able to find quite a few videos that are lengthy, 30 minutes to an hour, on like lesson study planning with teachers that are being recorded. There's a lot of like student observations with multiple teachers in rooms together, which was really cool. But finding the grade level videos based on beyond what we found for the 45 hours has been tricky. So if anyone has anything, I would love to have you send stuff my way. I'm still building and developing those components. So that would be awesome if you could help out with that. We did have our last meeting just a couple weeks ago for the semester for EDU for our Fieldwork Fridays. And Megan put together a survey that we sent out. We got a few responses. And from that, we have decided to launch the EDC or EDUC co-op back on January 12th. And that'll be our opening kickoff for the semester to get to hear back from everyone, see how things are going once the semester is over. Hopefully feeling kind of refreshed and renewed and ready to go for another semester virtually, and kind of continuing to hear from everyone to see what the need is and what else we can continue to bring to the table. And then Megan and I are speaking at the NACTEP coffee chat on December 4th. Is that right, Megan?
I'll have to put it up on my phone.
4th.
We'll be
Okay.
sharing that. I've been sharing the NACTEP coffee chats to our CCC-TPP kind of Facebook group. They don't have big fancy posts that are super eye-catching, but if you look for it there, and I can also share it more widely, since Shannon and I will be talking about how our group came together in the summer and fall, and about our resource of the Canvas Commons, so that we can share that with a bigger audience, because the NACTEP folks can take that to their states. But yeah, I think it was not the 4th. I think it's a little later. Was it the 4th?
Maybe it's the week after.
I think it's the 18th, actually.
Okay.
At 7:30.
Oh, it is the last day of the semester. Yes, that's right. That's right. Yes.
That's right.
Wake up early and join us.
Yes, for sure. It'll be, and by then we definitely will have the full course completed and up and running. And then I've been working and sent out invitations to the 14 community colleges in the Central Valley to invite them all to our conference here in the Valley. I would love to extend the conference, but I'm running this alone. And so I'm only accessible to, I think, 250 participants within Zoom. So I'm trying to almost reach that capacity. We'll see how it turns out. I think I have 89 students that are working on registrations right now through high school partners. So the rest of that will be given towards our college students and other community colleges.
Excellent. When is that happening, Megan or Shannon? When is that happening?
My conference is next Friday on the 20th.
Excellent.
So I'm hoping it goes well. It's, all the technology and components, that you have to make sure are there. So we'll see. I'll definitely record it, and I will add that section to the project once it's completed. We're focusing on the workforce and industry partners and working with students now to begin their resume building and job skills and teaching them how to use LinkedIn for education and connecting there. Renee, you were my inspiration on that piece, being that person that reached out to you and that connection. I thought, man, our students can do that now in LinkedIn. So let's teach them how to jump in there and use that. So
I think
that's basically it.
Excellent. I love too that you're encouraging the LinkedIn. I was later to LinkedIn, and now I didn't build it as much as I should have early. And so I am still working on building it, but when we can have students start building their networks and their connections and stuff early, it should just benefit them professionally. So that's great, Shannon, that you're doing that. Thank you so much. And thank you for your work and Megan's work and your leadership in the in the education community of practice. It's greatly appreciated. Okay, with that.
Thank you.
Let's go ahead and go back to Kimberly from Bakersfield, who's going to tell us about some awesome things they have coming up at Bakersfield. And Kimberly, I'm wondering, should I pull off share so you have screen? I can't hear you.
I'll stick the documents also. Yes, please. I'll also stick the document in the chat before I go.
Perfect.
Okay. Sorry, I was late.
Oh, no worries. It's such a busy time.
Okay, so there's a lot going on in Bakersfield. Our department started 2 years ago. That we had only one course, the Intro to Elementary Teacher Education, and these are our courses now and certificates. We had one degree, and this is not including child development. We split from child development and became our own education department, working in the same education pathway together, but two different departments. So we have several courses that I'll put it in the chat so you see where they go, but I just put them in numerical order. But we have combinations of courses that go to stackable certificates that are paraprofessional to local degree. And they're listed here. B7 and 7A are just changed names. We've had a long-standing tutor training program, but we changed it to education because instead it was under our basic skills, which we used to be. So now it fits correctly in the education top code and everything. B8, which is one of our new ones, is also UC CSU transfer and meets Gen Ed in social and behavioral science. And then as you scroll through, we have this B20 NC and 21 NC. These are in progress. I should put in progress in there. They're still in the system. A group came to us looking for a home for a certificate that would include, because there's so much leadership when you think about education and credentialing and master's degrees, there's a lot of leadership in there. So it was a home for us. We haven't launched that, but it doesn't fit with anything other than its own certificate. So it doesn't really fit into the rest of the things that we're doing, but it's housed with us there. And then the latest one are these B30, 31, 32 NCs and regular. These came because of the pandemic. Our local K-12 system came to us and said that their teachers were really suffering with using online environment. So we quickly developed these courses over the summer, got a quick approval through, and now it's become our main professional development on campus. We have a cohort of about 300 faculty members who are getting a stipend to complete these courses between fall and spring. And it's a non-credit version for them, so it's no money on their part, and they will get an online teaching certificate at the end of the spring session. These are all brand new courses, but we've already taught numerous ones, and we have 5 sections that will be running intersession from November 23rd through January 21st that will be accommodating the faculty cohort. So that's pretty exciting. We don't know where this will land after the pandemic, probably fewer offerings, but right now we're just packing in hundreds of people that are really needing that support of just how to take the pedagogy from face-to-face into an online environment. So these are really rich courses with great information. We worked with our academic technology department to just kind of just get their expertise along with our teaching expertise, and we came up with this certificate together. We have our work experience course that was recently approved. We're hoping to have a small cohort doing something with in spring, but we don't know because of everything. This EDU B55 is brand new. I taught this fall. This was for students so that they could get a jump start into the online environment. It went really well for the first 3 weeks I did it. The second 3 weeks, it was kind of too late. This course needs to be taught prior or at the beginning of the semester based on what I rolled out in fall. But it was fun teaching it, very interactive. We are just now launching our standardized test prep. So this is all done through our Plato system, through our Success Lab. And we'll be kind of pushing this out to the public, hoping to get people to, they'll just come in and basically there's modules that they can work through. And then it's not the actual testing, but it's test prep for it's not just for teacher education. It's also got some allied health in there. It's got welding, test prep. It's got all kinds of things along with all the teacher test preps, including CBEST. This introduction to education pathway, that one we're still in development. They want, we are, very pathway based. All of everything's done by pathways. And so we're supposed to pilot this course to see if other pathways are going to jump on and offer a non-credit version. Still in progress there. Here's the paraprofessional certificates that those courses up above all kind of fit into. This one, we've already got several completers. We started this actually, the certificate is ready now, but we actually started teaching these a year ago. We work closely with dual enrollment, concurrent enrollment. So we have a lot of high school students who are graduating with a certificate that will help them to, if they want to go into working while they're getting their degree, then the units will help them, bump up in pay scales and where they can teach. And our KCSOS group, the K-12 system, we have a huge advisory board through K-16 with our private university, CSUB, K-12, and they're the ones who came up with what they thought they wanted for these certificates. So that was all brought about by community need. And we're still working on the level 4 one. It's just still in the hopper, just need going through approval. Following the level 4, that will then just be a few more courses that will lead to a local degree. So it's an option for students if they need to work while they're getting their degree. It's not fully aligned or articulated with CSUB, but we're hitting all the gen eds as we would a local degree. Our ADT is fully articulated to finish in 4 years. They take them in as juniors at CSUB. And so that one's fully articulated to complete, fast track. But this is an option for students who maybe need to, can't do the fast tracking that the ADT requires. And then I mentioned the certificate above. We have a non-credit and a credit option for that online teaching certificate. And it's just three unit courses or 3 non-unit courses. And we don't have anyone completed yet because 32 is the last one in, and it's in its final approval this month. So it'll be on the spring offerings and probably have like 6 sections of it. And we're running about 40, 45 per section. So that's that's what we're doing there. So there's a lot going on. We also just got 30,000 from KCSOS, had a grant and to push teacher prep and special education. So we're working on that MOU, but they're giving us till 2022 to spend that because it's hard to spend money right now with everything online. And then we also just got a TRIO SSS grant for teacher education. And I'm the director for that. I just finished 5 years on Title V, and I was like, kind of like, oh, okay, take a break. And then this one snuck up and they called me. I think it was my birthday. It was in August and I was just finishing up Bridge. And I'm like, what? I'm a director again. I have a retirement plan that's 3 to 5 years and it just bumped it to 5 years. So I was excited. It's $1.3 million over 5 years. But if you don't know TRIO grants, which we've never had one before, so that's exciting. It's meticulous in terms of getting cohorts and tracking and all that. And that's not really my forte. I'm more like the visionary and, like to be boots on the ground. And so I just have to have a lot of good people around me, but I have A&R and I've got counseling and everybody's on board. And it's really mostly making sure the students get to them to get the services. And then we'll do our thing that we do with our huddles and our little conferences. But the first year is going to be rough, because just even getting a cohort, it's just going to be tough because, that we don't have that face-to-face environment where we can, entice them and bring them in and feed them. So luckily the first year doesn't count in your points for subsequent TRIO grants. So I still have years 2, 3, and 4 to make this happen. So it's exciting. And we're actually getting to hire people. As a matter of fact, I'm getting off in a few minutes I've already hired 2 new adjuncts and trying to hire a 3rd one. And we were completely depleted when we went from basic skills. We had nothing left in our department except us 8 full-time faculty. We had to lose every adjunct. Everything was gone. Our courses were gone. And a lot of our faculty had to teach in other departments temporarily. And now we're actually hiring people part-time. So it was a 2-year plan and it came to fruition with a lot of work from a lot of people. So that's
Yep.
BC.
That was one of my questions. I'm wondering how many full-time faculty EDU that you have. You'd mentioned 8. Are they all EDU?
Yep.
How?
I might have 9. I might be missing somebody, but yeah, we went from a department of about 12. We were basic skills for like 30 years. And we had like 14, 16 adjunct faculty. We were just maxed out with reading, English, and math. We did it all through our department. Then when it went down, then we were down to, we only have people that have education degrees and English degrees. And so a lot of the education courses, they couldn't teach the education course, the English people. So it's been a work in progress to see how we can keep our English that were with us already and not lose them to English because they're, we wanted them, but the majority of us are credentialed teachers at some point. So we were already in the right place to be an education department. But now everybody we hire, we're just hiring education degrees. So to make sure that they fit any of our courses. So but we didn't have to lose anybody. We didn't lose a single person except to retirement.
Kimberly, is your faculty tenure tracked or have you, are you supporting their salaries with grants?
All of our faculty, actually all of them except one are tenured. Long time, and we just have, well, I think the last one is tenured this year, so all of our faculty are tenured in our department.
Great.
I'm also wondering, Kimberly, how did you get the buy-in from campus? Because one of the things that many of us have run into over the years is the whole, you can't transfer more than 6 EDU units, and therefore we don't want any additional EDU classes. And, there's been such pushback, but we know we need like a specialized class in special education, at least one. Today on a previous conversation that I was having with LA region campuses, we were talking about what if we had an intro to teaching where there was like multiple levels where you could have your standard 45-hour class, but then what if there was like a version 2 that was like a deep dive that meant for people that want to be leaders? And it's like, you feel like your hands are so tied. So what did you do to kind of get this to happen?
Well, it was kind of a whirlwind, and all of it started with us on a very high learning curve when we got the grant with the consortium. Now I'm assuming grants ago, It just finished. Um,
Was it the Title V grant?
no, that wasn't the one we just
Was it
finished.
the strong workforce that we were working on together?
It's through Strong Workforce, but I just lost the name of it. I don't know why, because I'm already now 3 grants away. But yeah, it's that one. Yeah. So one way is that we had a huge advisory of people that were community people that said, this is what we want. And so when you have an advisory that has all the big wigs and all the way through K-16 and all your feeder schools and dual enrollment and all these people are going, yeah, we want this. We're heavy in dual enrollment. So we had a big audience there. They wanted something that their students could graduate with. And so those paraprofessional certificates, are starting to spread, not hugely. But we have a very restrictive ADT that was so restrictive. We only had the one education course in there, but I have a mastermind curriculum person that works with me, and she's on the curriculum co-chair. She's just a genius. And she just knows what to put through, how to put it through, and works with us really closely. She's one of my tenure track folks. And everything we've done has just worked into the right place. So we can't add anything to our ADT, except now we are adding 2 of the electives are now going to be education courses. So now we'll actually have 3 education courses, but it's a long process. But when you know curriculum process and you have a really fast curriculum, we're a huge school, 30-some thousand. So we've got committees just get stuff done. And then the online teaching certificates, again, that was just like, make this. So that local degree really was bought into really well by the people that are in our rural communities, because their paraprofessionals are getting kind of stuck in paraprofessional roles, and they're not progressing because they don't have access. They don't have a way to get there. So it was a no-brainer that we developed something that would give them incremental money raises on top of enticing them to just go a little bit more, go a little bit more, go a little bit more, and then you'll have a degree. And so then it just worked for our area really well. And we don't have a lot of competition because there's not much around in Kern County. So, 30-some thousand students, community people come to us. And our one feeder school locally is CSUB. So we work super close with them. And they don't articulate everything, but they've articulated at least one new course.
Great.
This is Steve from Santa Ana College. Just really quick, I applaud you and all the work that's been done. It's amazing what you're doing at Bakersfield, and I feel you with the grants. I did 12 years of back to back grants, federal grants, and I was done after that. So, but Mike, just thinking historically, so about, I don't know, 8 or 10 years ago, the education departments at community colleges have become like the buckets for everything, right? Study skills, tutor training, and it became like, it lost its focus from preparing P12, K-12 teachers, right? And then we had to argue with the CSUs that our professors and the ones who are teaching our ed courses meet the standard that are set by the commission, that they have K-12 backgrounds, right? And have experience in K-12 diverse schools, because that's when we're teaching the Ed 200, or the version of Ed 200 that they're really looking at also. And the state is also looking at who's teaching our pre-service teachers, particularly those fieldwork courses that lead to the credential. Now, some of the other things are fine because our FSA for education in community college is pretty broad, and but the ones that are courses that are designed to articulate into Bakersfield and other CSU campuses, they really need to have the K-12 teaching credential and background and those kinds of things. So I just want us to be cautious in that, because that was a hard road to fight, even within our own system, to get those courses articulated with the CSUs, because we had other colleges in the system that were using those ed courses for a lot of other different things.
Oh, yeah.
And not just K-12 teacher preparation, and trying to discern that and let the CSUs know, no, we have the professors and the expertise to teach these courses. It became a challenge a bit. So I just caution us as a system that we create programs that serve the needs of the education system, but it just doesn't become like a bucket for everything, and then we have to like untangle it later on.
Yeah,
hard to.
And I have to go in like 30 seconds, but no,
Yeah.
ours is our program moved from basic skills and there's no basic skills now at BC, but we were already a department full of credentialed teachers because that was the right fit for basic skills. So all those courses that are on there either lead to, except for the online teaching cert, and then the tutor training, which has been, in there, which is also an education top code. So it fits under education, and you'll see it in a lot of schools. But other than, I only have left in my department one person, I think one person, so I have one person that's been teaching online. Well, all of them have education degrees except two people. And the one is mostly reassigned somewhere else, and the other one is thinking of going to English. And the rest of us are all education degrees, doctorates, K-12 background. So, we understand that, and as we hire people, we're looking for people that have that experience because they need to know the needs of who they're teaching. So it's very, who gets assigned those courses? Well, by min quals, the people that have English and don't have education, but all those courses either lead to the local degree through the stackable paraprofessional, or they lead to the ADT, which is our intro course. And like, I think B10 and B8, it's all, so we're pretty much come from a K-12 system.
How many students do you have in
declared in our pathway? Is about 850 on any given time. I'm going to go hire somebody right now, but thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Gosh, great. So much to think about,
Yeah.
Right.
Stuff to think about.
Different approaches.
Definitely. And she also, within some of those course titles, I know not all the titles and whatnot descriptors were there, but some of those courses are really focusing on humanizing the virtual space. And so I'm assuming that's the series that the, K-12 and PK through 16 is taking, but just a great concept right now to be working on. So with that, Dr. Bautista.
Thank you. Yeah, so our conference starts tomorrow. We've moved virtual. We have over 650 participants registered. Like, we've never had that number before. So I'm a little terrified. I'm a lot terrified about what's going on. So we have a single point of registration, unlike the Teach LA and the Teach for the Bay. We have a single point of registration, and then all the registrants get access to the full array of workshops and the keynote speaker. So we don't have any pre-registration. We don't have who's going to what workshop. So it's, we're going to be crossing our fingers all weekend long. Most of our Zooms are at 300 capacity. So, we're hoping that works out well. We are taking our keynote speaker we're using YouTube Live. We'll be streaming live to YouTube in addition to the Zoom because of the size of the group that we hope to attract. I'm super excited about that. Jeff Duncan Andrade is an amazing educator, an amazing scholar. He was actually the researcher whose foundation, his work was the foundation of my dissertation. Some, what do they call it? I'm trying to think of the name. They call it fangirling or fanboying, scholarly fanboying him. So I'm excited about that. I get to interview him. It's going to be a conversation with him. It's kind of like a podcast type of deal where I'll be asking questions. I'll be curating questions from the audience. So it'll be hopefully really interactive. So super excited about that. So we are moving into the virtual space with the Road to Teaching Conference, and excited and terrified. And we'll see you on the other side. And hopefully we can report numbers like, Kathy and Leah have with their programs. But yeah, it's a new day.
It's so exciting. It's going to be interesting once we go back to face-to-face events to see which events we keep virtual or which do we have a blended, or I'm curious to see what the future is going to look like moving forward for us. But congratulations already, Steve. It sounds so exciting. And gosh,
Thanks.
You're going to be exhausted between the Road to Teaching and ACTEP, like the same exact. And Road to Teaching, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right? Aren't there workshops scattered over the whole weekend?
That's correct. That's correct. Starting on Friday, right? Keynote is for all day, workshops Friday, keynote Friday at 4 o'clock, all day Saturday till 1 o'clock on Sunday. So I also wanted to go back and just share about ACTEP and at CCTE. At CCTE, Janice actually got a chance to serve on the panel at the end of CCTE, where each of the heads, the leaders of the system, teacher education, CSU, AICCU, community colleges, and I think the bilingual ed folks all got to have a conversation about the futures of teacher education in our state. And she was invited to share really about the California community colleges and our programs. And she was unabashedly and just proud of the work that we did, and pushed it out there to all of our CSU, our university partners, about the work that we're all doing in so many different arenas to train future teachers, to prepare them for the universities. And so it was really great to hear her, and people were just nodding and cheering and saying, yes, we need to bring in community colleges into this pathway as a state more formally. And so there was commissioners in the room, there are university leads in the room. So I think hopefully this will raise our visibility much more, and all the work that's getting done. If we can, again, the work is it's right now sectional and regional and collective, but if we can all just bring this together, I think it's going to be really an important time, particularly in areas of policy and advocacy. So excited about that as well. I have to jump off to another meeting as well, but the work that's getting done, it's really, I get goosebumps thinking of all this work that's getting done, and it's really cool to seeing how much is really happening in this virtual space, and kind of hopefully the synergy that's still building. So thank you for all of your amazing work, everybody. It's really cool.
Steve, can you tell us one more time the dates on that?
For the Road to Teaching Conference,
Yes.
It starts tomorrow, Friday the 13th, 14th, and 15th.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Wondering, do you have a link to the recording for Janice? Is that something that you could send that we could share? Because I bet you if there's a recording link, people might want to check it out if they haven't had a chance to see it. That panel from
Good.
CCT.
Yeah. The conference. Yeah. So let me go look. I'll have to find it. I've been getting a lot of emails from them. I haven't had a chance to dig back through to see if they posted recordings, but for sure.
Okay, awesome. Thanks so much, Steve. Really appreciate the report, and I will see you tomorrow at Active.
Okay, bye. Thanks, everyone.
Okay, with that, let's go ahead now to the website, and we'll talk to Bobby for a little bit, see if there's been any updates or what things are looking like on the Teacher Prep Programs website.
Actually, there aren't any updates right now because I think we finally narrowed it down to Divi. One of their updates, WordPress did an update, Divi did updates. I made all the updates. Something is interfering with me editing the pages. We think it's Divi, and I've had so many calls, I haven't had a chance to actually physically call them up on the phone. But I have to, that's what ITS and GoDaddy and everybody else says, that I need to just get on the phone with Divi, and there's one of their apps is somehow interfering. It's creating cache folders where it shouldn't, and so it's not actually allowing edits. So anyway, we have a technical glitch.
I didn't even realize there was any sort of glitch, Bobby. So nice.
I mean, well, the website looks fine, but I haven't been able to update because, like, I've been like, before this, I was going in for the Teach for LA conference, and as I have an accordion file at the end. As events were ending, I was like taking out the link where you register for it, taking out the registration links. If people are adding to the Google Docs folder the documents and videos and stuff, well, then I'll add them into the accordion. But I can't do that because I can't even make even the simplest edit without it giving me the 502 bad gateway error message, which is too generic to know what's going on. So yeah, I'm not really making updates right now. I'm working on fixing what's going on in the back end so I can make updates.
Thank you, Bobby.
As soon as we get that fixed, I will be updating it all.
Is there anything we can do to support you with that?
No.
Thank you for dealing with it, and thank you for consistently keeping our website like in good shape, even though things have been inconsistent for us. So it's appreciated deeply.
Yeah, no one else can tell because the website's still there. You can still click on everything and it's still active. I just can't update anything right now.
No worries. It happens. It happens. So next thing I put on the agenda. Thanks, Marianne, for being here. I see she's heading to an equity meeting. I appreciate you coming today. The other thing I wanted to bring up is, and we don't have to decide this yet, but I just want to kind of throw it out there. CCC AOE sent out their call for presentations this week. for spring 2021. And, traditionally TPP presents at CCC AOE. So I just want to throw it out there, see people's thoughts. I'm assuming it's going to be a virtual conference still. I don't know for sure. We did 3 presentations at the fall CCC AOE, and 2 of the 3 were pretty decently attended, and one of them we literally had nobody, but we ran the presentation and we taped it or recorded it and put it up on the TPP website. But does anybody have any thoughts on that? Oh yes, Megan, they do a fall and a spring. Yeah, CCC AOE does both. And so, usually spring we're in Sacramento. It's usually a great time that we're doing advocacy work and other things while we're up there. I don't know if by March, if we'll be allowed to be back in Sacramento and traveling, probably not. So I'm assuming it's going to be virtual, but those of you who are still on the line, do you have any thoughts about CCC AOE for spring?
I would be interested in knowing if they're going to be charging for spring.
Oh, I would assume so, Kim, because before it used to be $4.95, and then in spring of 2020, they bumped it to $6.50. And then for fall, since it was virtual, they discounted it to $4.95. I think they'll still be charging. I don't know how much. I'm hoping they are not charging $500 though, because I think that level of what they were asking for fall, it was too expensive for a virtual conference. It's one thing when you're spending $500 or $600 and you're there for 3 days and you're getting breakfast and lunch and you're in a hotel, and the costs that go along with running a conference in a hotel is honestly like obscene, some of the costs. So I could justify spending that much for the conference then, but I've got to be honest, spending $500 during the middle of the pandemic I think it was a miss on their part. I think they should have made it cheaper. So I do believe that it will cost. Bobby or Leah, did you happen to see if they put cost yet for spring? Yeah, I didn't look. I just noticed that they said call for presenters, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's time already. Like, didn't I just write 3 proposals?
Yeah, I didn't see anything about cost.
Okay, and Kim,
I just saw the call.
Yeah, we can share cost once we know it for sure. One thing to note, the Coalition for Anti-Racism Education, they have been doing some work with CCC AOE. So depending on what the care team rolls out, it may be worth it. Also, it depends on your grant availability too, for everybody who's on the line. If you've got fiscally funds where you have them earmarked for this kind of a purpose, assuming it's okay with, all your grant managers and everybody on campus, you may want to just do the investment. I will tell you, I normally pay for CCC AOE twice a year personally, because I do find it might not be the exact content you want for every session you go to, but the relational investment is worth it in my opinion, because the people you meet, the connections you meet at or make at CCC AOE, I believe are unique. Yeah, but it is a lot. So, okay, so any thoughts on presenting and being there, and what do you think? Should TPP have a presence at CCC?
I was gonna back you up in the sense that the biggest advantage to CCAOE is the networking and the relational stuff. So for them to charge that much for Zoom calls, you're not getting out of it what you get in person. But I think it's always good for us to participate, to give presentations.
Yeah,
I may not register like I did this past fall. I may not register to attend the whole conference, but
And that's one thing. If we do present, we don't have to attend. If we'll just get the login for our presentation, and we'll just pop in and be a presence, and then people can choose on their own if they want to go to the rest of the series. Okay, so once we, I didn't really check out the thing. I honestly got the email and was like, oh my gosh, it's time to do it again. So I need to pull it up. And so for our meeting next month, I'll bring it forward and see just what topics we would be interested in presenting on. So before we go into communities of practice and some regional updates, I just want to quickly share with everybody. We have got a save the date. This is just our regular TPP calendar. We have one more TPP meeting collectively in December for 2020. We have information on CTC right now is doing some webinars for early childhood education teacher performance expectations pilot. And if you haven't had a chance to check out those webinars, the last one is happening next Friday. And I just want to point out that webinar series was a 5-part webinar series talking about this opportunity to pilot teacher performance expectations in early childhood. And all of the other 4 recordings are available on the commission website. So if you do want to go back and check it out, please do. I do want to let you know that we will have quite a few of our TPP campuses going out and being involved in the teacher performance expectation pilot program. So just kind of a heads up, if you've got a strong early childhood program on campus, you may want to see if they want to be involved. And if so, now is the time to get involved. Also, we've got just the dates that we talked about earlier in the different conferences. I do want to point out there's a coffee chat happening tomorrow. There's also a December 4th coffee chat happening in early childhood. And that's going to be focusing on really not just celebrating the end of the semester, but there's going to be some wellness elements to that December 4th, just to try and help everybody, you know, calm down at the end of the semester because it is a very stressful time. After that coffee chat on December 4th, I do want to point out that JSPAC is doing a 3-part deliberation series. I actually am going to be involved in this. I'm giving the 3rd day of these 3 days of presentations and really focusing on how do we humanize the virtual learning experience. And so within those 3 days, they're going to be looking at the humanity approach with Burkay, who's a fantastic presenter. If you've never seen Burkay, go on day 1. He is so gifted. I can't even tell you. He's one of those people where whenever you see him present, you're just mesmerized the entire time. Really talented presenter. Then they have 2 people coming in on December 8th to talk about humanizing data and what does that mean. And then I will be kind of wrapping up the series with the general idea of humanizing virtual learning. And on that day, I'm going to be getting into universal design for learning and just quite a few different things that we do to make sure that all populations can be involved in the virtual experience for learning. And I do want to point out we have the coffee chat flyer I included on the agenda, and we also have the Ed Fieldwork COP flyer that's happening January 12th. But with that, let's go back now to our communities of practice. And I know we only have a few of our regions represented right now, but if we could go ahead and hear a little bit about what's happening in LA and what's happening in the South Coast Central region, that would be great. So who wants to speak on behalf of LA? I know Leah always has to, so I don't know if somebody else would like to. Or not.
Go ahead, Leah.
Thank you, Leah.
That's our Teach for LA is pretty much what is happening right now. So I think we already did a report for LA.
Anything to expect for the start of 2021? Anything different or new that we should be thinking of for the region? I mean,
we are. I know that we are going to continue our alignment, right? Yeah, I did forget to mention that. And Renee, of course, is spearheading that. So we're doing our alignment in the region of our EDU courses, which I think all of you know. So what else? What else is happening in LA, Bobby?
Well, we have that new grant for Rio Hondo, Cerritos, and El Camino have a U.S. Department of Education seed grant it's already technically started, but we're getting all the contracts in place and everything. The Center for Collaborative Education was the lead on the application. And I think we all convinced them that Renee was a perfect hire. And so she's going to be working on that project too, as the program coordinator on that project. Because there's only 5 of us, and I trust you guys aren't going to let the cat out of the bag, because I had to figure out how I'm going to spend the money. I did hear from Audrey Childers today about our regional strong workforce application. And they are our project was low enough down where they kind of ran out of money, and they are offering us a lot less than we asked for, but we're going to find a way to make it work. It's only something like $343,000, Leah. It was that amount that you thought it might be. It really is. They're offering us a
They're
small
offering us
money.
that because that's supposed to go to transportation. So I hope they're not.
No, well, she sent me an official thing and wants to meet about it tomorrow. She sent me an email saying we can give you this amount of. I can't find the email right now.
No
because
way.
I'm trying to
Look at her list because according to that list, we have no money. Yeah, but it's good if they give it to us, though. I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to argue with her.
Yeah.
How many colleges applied with us again?
Is
Well-
Megan still on? I thought you left.
I
Oh,
turned
Megan.
my camera off.
Oh, okay. I was gonna call you after this.
Is that
And-
figure
and-
that she's talking about, Bobby? That's exactly the figure for the transportation project.
Yeah, but the
Yes.
thing is that I suspect there's actually more that will be freed up because, like I said, all these projects are supposed to start July 1st. Of
Mm.
course, nobody has started because they haven't even decided who they're funding yet. You know, so they got 6
Wow.
months of budgets on people's books that I don't see how they're going to be able to spend. Anyway, no, 343,746. I just found the amount.
Okay.
And so that's what they are offering us. And so I
Or
want
how
to
many-
talk to.
Would it be divided by
13.
how many
Well-
colleges?
Well,
12?
the thing is that there was 13 colleges on the thing, the
But we
thing
all
is, I
asked
think-
for different amounts.
right. We all asked for different amounts, and I'm thinking that especially like Rio Hondo, Cerritos, and El Camino, now that we have funding from another source, we're not as in dire straits anymore. You get what I mean? So I want to find out the colleges that really need the money, like like Long Beach, let's see what colleges actually need some money. And work from there. It's going to be a short amount of time.
Right, because
But-
don't you have to figure it out so they can give award letters or something?
Yeah.
Like by the
So-
winter, probably?
Yeah, we'll probably have to find out soon. But anyway, so it's just a small
Wow.
pot of money for a short amount of time. And
It
I
ends
imagine if-
next year still, right? This money is still good for a year and a half from now.
yeah, it ends when does it end, Leia? July
20,
June 2021.
Yeah, 2021.
2022, right? Because 21 would only be 6 months to spend out.
Yeah, it's in a year and a half, I think.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
So
what
they'll
today
tell
is.
you how
Oh
to
yeah, it's
figure
almost
out-
21 now. Okay, sorry. Yeah, you're right. 2022,
Well-
year and a half.
For those of you who are not in the region, just for perspective,
Mhm.
the LA region proposal was for 2.4 million. And they have granted 340, what was it? 343.
43,000.
343.
Now, the good thing about that though, is since they're only funding at less than a sixth or less than a seventh of what was requested, it's not the same proposal moving forward. Because there's no way we could do the 2.4 million of deliverables for 340,000. And so
Right.
that leaves some flexibility in terms of what does that investment look like? And especially, which campuses have monies and which campuses are more in need. And so it lends itself to a different conversation. Well,
Do
and
we
I,
have to resubmit though? And say this is now how
No.
I'll use it?
They're not gonna. They'll probably have me redo a budget. for
Oh, yeah,
project.
yeah.
and then
But
when
other
you,
than
You'll be
they're not
charged
gonna-
with finding out how much to give each
Or-
of the applicants, if anything, if they're still asking for it, making maybe, yeah.
Yeah, and
Right.
definitely a revised work plan because they don't expect you to be doing all those things with 343,000.
Right. You can't. Yeah, you can't do for 343,000 what you could do with 2.4 million.
Mm-mm.
nice that it's an open.
No.
No, right, Kim? No, no. Or they certainly shouldn't expect you to anyway.
No, they shouldn't.
No.
You pay for a salary for someone who's gonna coordinate it. So
That's what
Yeah.
I'm thinking.
Yes, certainly.
So, okay, great. Well, thank you, Bobby, and thank you, LA Region, for that update. Glad to hear, even though it wasn't Plan A, I'm also glad to hear that the request wasn't fully shut out, that there is something. And I know it's
Right.
343,000 is not much, but I'll be honest, my first strong workforce that I wrote for the South Coast Central region was, I think it was $60,000 for 8 campuses. And we got like 8 grand each. So it was like hardly any money, but we still did something with it. So, you know, it's progress, not perfection. And I do like the idea of 343 with the idea that there might be other monies that may come, because I don't think people are going to be able to spend out, as Bobby's saying. And so maybe within those discussions, we can hopefully expand that number. So let's go ahead and see for our South Coast Central region friends that are on right now, our colleagues, what would you like to share about any updates that have been happening in your region? Kim, I think last time you talked to us a little bit about the new grant. Do you want to share just anything that has like transpired from that grant? Because it sounds like, or like within our conversations, it sounds like, you know, some things are really like getting settled and you're getting some, you know, rules and responsibilities in place. And so how have things changed since the last time we heard about your new funding source?
Yeah, you know, it's a slow process. We're just getting to a point where we're actually beginning to start to have opportunity to make some substantial decisions. But yeah, we're putting a really great team into place, slowly but surely, piece by piece. Renee is actually going to be part of that. We're really excited about that, and there are others that we're looking to bring on. I am now the director of the grant. I was the coordinator. I've just been appointed the director. So I will be 100% released to begin working with this grant. And I'm really excited about that. Yeah, it's just a slow process. You know, I'm going to be sitting down soon looking at a budget. I was just thinking, man, I need to call Bobby. I need to call Bobby. I wish I had more to share. I just don't, because we're just in the beginnings of it. And
oh, I totally get it, Kim. It takes
yeah,
so long to get, especially at this time of the year, to try and get everything set up when there's not as many board meetings and there's vacations. And so I know it's a hard time, but we're so excited for what you.
oh, thank you. Well, thank you. And one great thing is we are going to be hiring some new faculty, and that's going to be fantastic. I'm really excited about that. So.
Excellent. Kim, are you hiring what type of faculty? Will you have early childhood?
Well, right now, because our EDU program is not extensive, we are also building a stronger infrastructure, more in-depth infrastructure for ECE. And so because I'm going to be released and Andy is going to be released part-time, we're going to have several mini courses that are going to have to be taken over. And we are in the middle of designing a few courses, new courses that are going to have to be taught. So we're predominantly looking at ECE instructors. However, we are also looking at, if possible, bringing in some of those instructors that have, although they're ECE, they have ECE experience or education, they also have are certificated teachers, so for K through 12 teachers. So but I do believe, you know, once we get this infrastructure put together, we will then be looking to hire more EDU faculty. So it's just the beginning, just the beginning.
Excellent. Well, and let us know how we can support you along the journey, you know, whatever you need, especially since it's a newer role for you. Like, and not that any of us have had the same exact grant or the same exact, but you know what I mean? We can absolutely, we're here to be a support for each other.
Oh, thank you. I'm going to need it. I mean, definitely. I'm excited about it. And, you know, I'm ready to take it on. I finally decided that, you know, I really do want to put 100% into this. And that was part of the decision of taking the director's position when I was asked. And I think we can make a difference. And I have high hopes for really creating a program that will at the end of 5 years have some sustainability, to continue. And also that we can track and really um, really track the progress of students, kind of like we were talking about earlier, just making sure that we're meeting the needs of our community and really bringing them into the decision making process, listening to what they have to say about it, and supporting just their journey as a whole, rather than just throwing these courses at them and saying, you know, this is what you have to do, it's expected. But like really listening to them and saying this is also an opportunity for you to decide whether or not this is where your true passion is, this is your why, and that there are other elements to this, other aspects of this particular profession that you can continue into. You don't have to believe that this is going to be the end all profession for you or job for you. This is just the beginning and the infrastructure of your own journey, you know, and just allowing them the grace and space to work through that and understand that, and find a support system in that. I was thinking, you know, as you all were talking earlier, one of the things that we don't talk a lot with education students about is the fact that they can have a single credential, also a single subject credential that specifies their particular interests. And you know, I think sometimes I wonder if, you know, we shouldn't talk with them about um, the fact that they can truly work within their interests and their passion with education. It's not just a K through 12 degree for you know, multiple subject credentials, you know.
So
I'm
relevant,
here a little-
especially for career technical education people.
yeah.
For instance, my son got his haircut at Great Clips like about a month ago. And it was our first time going into a place to get his haircut, you know, since March. I had been trying to do it, not very successfully. And it was fascinating because I was talking with the person who was doing his hair, and she was lovely. And I didn't bring up teaching and education at all. But she goes, you know, when I first started, I really wanted to be a teacher. That was my dream, to be a teacher. And, you know, it's been great coming into like the service industry where I'm, you know, in cosmetology. I've enjoyed it. I love people, but I always wanted to be a teacher. And I looked at her and I said, why aren't you teaching hair at Flair Cosmetology School? She's like, what are you talking about? I said, you could do it part-time. I said, you can be a teacher of your skill. I said, your skill
Yes.
in cosmetology, why don't you make that a personal goal that you become a teacher of it? And she was like, oh my God, I never even thought about that.
And I think that that is where we are missing the mark.
Yeah.
I think we really have to start helping our students see the vision and understand that the vision is much more than the didactic programs that are thrown at them often.
Yeah.
So
I agree. So, well,
yeah.
thank you so much, Kim. It's going to be exciting to see what you're able to do and what you're able to accomplish. And, you know, it's a good time in teacher preparation. There, you know, there's a lot that needs to happen, and we're getting a little bit of funding sources here and there. So we're piecemealing it and putting it together, and it's an exciting time. So with that, everybody, I see we were right at 1:30. Actually, real quickly, and I mentioned this to Doug earlier, and I think I'll probably do it via a survey, so it's official. But I do, at our next meeting, I'd like us to have a conversation about if we want to continue having a monthly CCC-TPP meeting. I'm happy to continue hosting and, you know, making sure we have an agenda and make sure we have everybody to speak and stuff. But I also want to make sure that this is what the group wants. And so anyways, just be thinking about that. And I will, you know, make sure I do a survey or something where I fully get everybody's opinion. But moving into 2021, I want to do what's best and what's right for our team. And if everybody wants to keep meeting monthly, I will keep hosting and, you know, offering the meetings. But I never want these meetings to become a burden. I want them to be a resource. And so I think it'd be good to do a check and see where everybody's at. And I think I'll do that, you know, within the next couple of weeks. So is that cool with everybody?
Yeah, I love that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like our meetings. I think they're beneficial. But like I said, I don't want to be a burden for people. I want it to be a resource.
No, I think it's fantastic. I learn something new every time I attend, and I'm very grateful for that.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
So.
Well, I hope everybody has before we go, and I know I shouldn't do this, I'm going to stop share real quick. I should stop recording, actually, is what I should do, not stop share.